How powerful has the rise of Chinese consumption been? Last year, 76.2% of China's GDP growth came from consumption. Simply put, if Chinese consumption falters, the economy would come to a standstill. As for investment, real estate is declining, and government investment is stuck in a cycle of perpetual loans. For imports and exports, Chinese goods have already reached nearly every corner of the world. We've basically taken control of the low and mid-end markets. So China's ability to further deepen imports and exports is actually quite limited. Our annual trade with the United States is $570 billion, and we make about $300 billion in profit from that. This kind of trade structure really can't be sustained in the long run. So consumption centered on helping Chinese people live better, more beautiful, healthier, and happier lives is going to be a super trend for the next 30 years. Remember what I'm saying here. 30 years from now, when we're all still around, we'll witness the Chinese economy together, the super era of the rise of Chinese consumption and Chinese services. So what will this super wave bring? It will bring about an era where consumption is king, and the consumer and service industries will definitely rise. China will definitely see the emergence of companies like the Beautiful 50. If you're interested, take a look at the Nifty 50 in the United States. Back in the 1970s and 1980s in America, you could see from the categories of these companies that they included everyday consumer goods, healthcare, non-daily consumer products, and also what we call the financial services industry. I define finance as a service industry. Finance isn't just about selling money. It's a service sector. If you add up the companies in the Beautiful 50, 33 of them are related to consumer and service industries, which makes up about 66% to 67%. Basically, it's all related to consumption and services. There's really nothing new under the sun, whether you want to believe it or not. That's just common sense for all the entrepreneurs and investors who are passionate about the consumer sector. And those who are dedicated to starting businesses in consumption and services, congratulations, you've caught the super wave of this era. Now, let's look at the second point. Are there any strong local companies in China? Yes, there are. Let me give you an example, none other than Xiangqian, right? Hot pot is a very traditional business. It's been around for probably 1,000 years. But how did Xiangqian manage to rise to a market value of 200 billion and get listed on the main board in Hong Kong? Was it because they give you a military flag, clean your ears, or put a cover on your phone? Of course not. It's also not because Xiangqian's food tastes better than others. So what does Xiangqian rely on? It's their underlying business logic of linked interests that locks in management, and their comprehensive optimization and superiority in system operations. On top of that, they have a deep understanding of human nature and their products. They connect everything through data and products, encourage repeat purchases, and build a value system centered on human care. In doing so, they've disrupted the traditional restaurant industry and created a new business culture and model. So, kids, is it really worth 200 billion? Do you believe that? Finally, there's a major entrepreneur standing on stage talking about this today. Who is it? Yu Liang from Vank, right? Our real estate industry in China is incredibly powerful, isn't it? There are tens of trillions invested in it. Even Comrade Yu Liang had to admit it when someone asked him. Comrade Yu Liang said, I accept it, because Vank can't even compete with soy sauce brand Haitian flavoring and food. Haitian's market value is 320 billion yuan, 20 billion in revenue, nearly 5 billion in profit. So, to sum up, this is just my personal judgment about the future. But for those of you at Xiangqian Camp who are aspiring entrepreneurs, I think this might be the key to future business competition that I've gathered from my 25 years of work experience. What are the rules of engagement? Rule number 1, achieve overall cost leadership under high gross margins. Without high gross margins, entrepreneurship can be deadly, because only with high gross margins will you have the desire and the room to improve and refine your business. What's the second rule? Excelling across the board in meticulous, systematic operations. You not only need to understand management, but also branding, channels, the market, modern communication, and in-depth marketing and distribution systems. More importantly, you have to thrive in an era where scientific management is the key to success. Take China right now, for example. The economy is on a downward trend, right? There's no bottom in sight. Competition is getting fiercer, the macro environment is tough, and the business climate isn't exactly great either, right? All of a sudden, what kind of era have Chinese companies and entrepreneurs entered? Let me tell you, it's the era of meticulous cultivation and refinement. This process of clearing out will definitely bring entrepreneurs back to their original intentions. And the diligence of companies. Future competition will be about Drucker's management science. Whoever is best at management, whoever can allocate market resources most efficiently to the right places and establish a modern enterprise system that fits, that company will gain the value of time-based advantages. Everyone cares about the value of time, about sticking to the fundamentals while making breakthroughs, and about what kind of benefits they can get. Where do these benefits come from? They come from capability. I have a very good friend, Chairman Jia Guolong from the Northwest, who once said something famous that really resonated with me. I like hearing it. What does endure? Endure mean if you have ability but no patience, nothing will get done. But if you have patience but lack ability, eventually you will succeed. Ability can be developed, but patience and perseverance are much harder to achieve. So, good people, as the era of doing business expands, I talk about the rise of a new class of entrepreneurs, the emergence of new business paradigms, business civilization, and business ethics. What kind of era is China entering? Remember this. I truly believe in this, and I personally have great faith in these words. Confucius philosophy, even after 2,000 years, will never become outdated. Uphold integrity and seek innovation. Harmony without uniformity. A gentleman seeks harmony but not sameness, while a petty person seeks sameness but not harmony. Great businesses are always the triumph of great values. There's a saying at Lakeside that I personally agree with: mission, vision, and values. If you don't get these right, you can't possibly become a great entrepreneur. That's why in my lab, this is the first hurdle you have to clear. Seriously, I've brought together a lot of people because of this. I don't think you can be an entrepreneur. If you want to become an entrepreneur, I'm willing to accompany you. I'm the super coach for China's champions, a good person. The era of doing business has arrived. Teacher Chen Wei once wrote an article, right? Good people, your time has come. This is a great era, isn't it? Anyone who can come and spend money to attend this conference, I believe you're all good people. At the very least, you all want to be good people. So this is about the birth of entrepreneurial spirit, organizational culture, and business civilization. That's why this is such a meaningful era. So why do we do this? People need to find meaning in their work because we are going to witness the birth of business civilization. China's business civilization might emerge in our generation, or maybe within 2 generations. So when you're starting a business, you're actually not lonely at all. You feel energized every day like you've had a shot of adrenaline. Why is that? Because it's about civilization and ethics. It's deeply connected to everything that came before. I've been in this for 25 years, 13 years in investment banking, and 12 years in consumer investment. The people who stick with it, it's definitely not just for the money. So what is it for? Entrepreneurial spirit and business civilization exploration. So finally, I want to say something. Jia Hua has persisted in focusing on consumer goods and services. And I like to think of myself as the champion at running alongside others in China. What I want to say is, first, I love the consumer sector because I'm passionate about it, and that's why I can stick with it. I also hope that every one of you entrepreneurs, every one of us business owners, does this out of love and interest. Put your heart into your products and services. The more you please your customers, the better you treat society, the better society will treat you in return. So there's something I really want to say to you all. Jia Hua also has a principle, supporting the private sector and boosting consumption in China. There's a deep vision and expectation behind this. When private enterprises are strong, China thrives. When they grow, China moves forward. Finally, there's a saying I want to stick to: advance one step at a time, never stop moving forward, and eventually all efforts flow into the sea. It's easy for us to compartmentalize problems, but we must remember China is, first and foremost, 1.4 billion people. What does that represent? It means our regional cultures, income levels, and per capita income. There are also slight differences in ethnicity and religious beliefs. China is a country with a highly developed tiered economy. Basically, you could say that every 100 million people form a different tier. So China has both lower tier markets and markets focused on consumption upgrades. Secondly, no matter how the logic between these lower tier and upgraded consumption markets evolves, the idea that people strive for progress is absolutely correct. Looking at the issue from the perspective of development, consumption upgrading is definitely the long-term trend. So even though Pinduoduo has captured the lower-tier market with its 99-cent deals, it will inevitably move toward becoming more like Tmall, expand into cross-border e-commerce, and eventually merge with other models. It won't stay stuck in the era of 99-cent deals with free shipping. That's why I believe that every market can be successfully covered by business. So what really matters for each entrepreneur is that the products and services you deliver will naturally differ. At each stage, in every phase of entrepreneurship, early, middle, and late, the state you start from and the market you cover will be different. That depends on your business strategy. But I think these two are part of a unified market stage. At different times and under different circumstances, a great company should see the entire market as its own. Monopoly is most attractive, but since we can't be a monopoly, we talk about caring for lower tiers and upgrading.